Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. If you haven't noticed yet, the audio is actually better, and I promised you guys that. So hopefully our message will be clearer and crisper for people to hear. Alrighty. So if you're new to the channel, this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I get asked about quite a few times. And it is fly tying vise. What vise are you using? Okay. I use 3. And this is one of them. And when I am off camera, I use this a lot. For a lot of good reasons. Okay. I'm gonna show you a few I'm gonna show you 3 of the vices that I use. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why I use them. I think it's very important for a lot of people to realize that there's only for me there's only 2 things that I look for in a vise. Okay. And one is the jaw. That's it. 95% of what you need in a fly tying vise has a lot to do with the jaw of the vise. And that is it. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? And for me, these 3 vices have jaws that do the job for me. Okay? So, first vice. Actually, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. Now, if you're here and you don't like boring discussions and stuff like that, I will give you the answer in less than 3 minutes. Okay? So if you're here just to find out what vice I use or what I recommend, it's this one. It's called the Montana Mongoose. It costs about 285, 300 US. Sometimes you could get it for less. It comes in a complete set with a pedestal, a clamp. It's a rotary vise, so it has everything that you need. It can hold big hooks, and that is that. Okay? So if you want to find or want to buy a vise that does a lot, the Montana Mongoose is it. All right? That's it. So if that's all you need, go. All right. So for you guys that are still hanging around, okay, I didn't mean to be rude or anything. It's just that there are some people that don't want to waste time, so I want to give them the answer so they could go. Now, if for you guys that ask the question why, and you're sticking around, great. All righty. So hopefully this video gives your time justice. Okay. So very first thing is that off camera, I tie a lot of smaller assist hooks because that's kind of like what you waste a lot of. So I use this, and I use this because of the several functions that it has. Okay, one of them is the fact that it has this lever, and boom, just like that. Now for smaller like this is kind of like your maximum right here. This is about a 2.0, or you max out at about 3 on certain brands for this. Okay, so this is a 3.0 with a thick body hook, and it won't fit. Okay, same with the VMC. See, that's a 3. So for forged hooks or thin wired hooks, this vise is awesome. All right, so it holds the hook, holds it steady, and has a lot of grip. This isn't even an original. This is a Regal VISE knockoff. Pretty sure it's either Indian or probably Indian or Pakistani. These boys know how to make tools, man. So scissors, fly tying vices, and stuff like that. Indian, Pakistani made, actually better than Chinese. Okay, Just a heads up. Okay. So for my Indian and Pakistani brothers out there, man, I even have like I had a knife custom made in Pakistan, and it's so good. One day I'm gonna show you that, guys, that. But these boys know what they're doing as far as these things are concerned. So if you're making, or if you're buying a Regal Vice knockoff, choose the ones that are made in India or Pakistan. Okay. And this one was given to me 20 years or 20 plus years ago by a gentleman named John. And obviously I use it for fly tying. I still do till this day. And I love it for the same reasons I love using it for my fly tying. Another thing that I'm using, so jaw. Okay. The two things that I look for in a vise is the jaw and the comfort in using it. Because see, the thing is, unlike most people that just, have fun tying, doing what they need, I actually tie a lot. Okay, so either I tie flies or I tie assist hooks, but I tie a lot, and I used to tie even more. Anyway, comfort. So I can lay my left hand. I'm obviously I'm right-handed, so I left hand here, tie, and then boom, hook on, hook off. It's as easy as that. Usually when I tie, I have like a small box that I put under the table, and it's kind of like collecting all the flies that I tie, because when I tie production style, I the last step is gluing, right? And believe it or not, I'm like one of those guys that after tying, I just leave it for a batch process of gluing, right? Now, I'm the type of guy that ties with the bobbin like this, and the what do you call this, scissor like that. Okay, so when I tie, it's like that, right? So when I'm done cutting, I'm about to cut, my scissor is just right there, and then I can just snip it. Okay. Same goes with the knife. Okay, I hold the knife just like that, and then I have my bobbin here. Bam, 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 and then cutting is just like that. Right? So I tie differently when I'm tying off camera, because I don't have to explain stuff. I tie faster. I learned that, well, production fly tying, because I used to tie a lot of flies for myself and some friends. So I learned that. Read some books, saw that information also online and stuff, and then there's some really good fly tyers I was around with, and then they showed me that. I was like, yeah. So it carried over to tying assist hooks. So when you're tying assist hooks, if you're tying 3 pairs, that's fine. Okay, you can take your time and all that. But if you're tying 50, if you're going on a trip and you're tying 50, it comes in handy. Okay, so this sort of vise helps me do that, because again, hook on and hook off is really fast. It's just one motion. Whereas for the others, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Now another thing is that I like clamps more than pedestals. Pedestals I hate with a passion. Same goes for fly tying. Okay. I like the fact that this is securely on a table, and I could torque things down. Okay, so when I'm tying, especially with assist hooks, you could see that the braid actually changes colors as soon as I make a wrap, because it's very tight. Okay, that also helps you in keeping the wraps thin and clean. Okay, now when I'm not tying and I don't want this in my way, I just turn a thumb screw, and this happens. Okay, so it's out of the way, and I could use my table. Now, if I want to tie at a lower angle, some people do. Okay, so I do that as well. So it's easier. So not gonna happen with a pedestal. Okay, so first vise that I recommend for 90% of the people there. Okay, actually, this would be for the guys that do shore fishing, shore jigging. Let's say light shore jigging. And those guys that fish on a boat with the light stuff, this is all you need. Okay. Now, if you want to venture off into like bigger hooks, I don't know how big you want to go. Okay. I don't know how big you want to. You see that? Did you see that? One clamp. Boom. Just like that. Okay. So faster. Again, this for me, I've been doing this for a really long time. You don't have to copy it, but I'm just showing you my system. All right. So there we go. You have that. And majority of you guys, especially the new ones, would see me tie with this. Okay. Of all the three, this is the newest that I have. This is a big ass hook, as you can see. Okay. Really big. Probably one of the biggest hooks that I would use for jigging. That's it. And this can take it. And not only that, check this out. This thing actually holds it really well. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but the table's actually moving, right? And it's holding it firmly. Okay, that big a hook. Again, when you're buying a fly tying vise, what do you look for? The very first thing is the jaw. Okay, comfort level on this is actually quite low. I don't like this for comfort. I only use this when I tie assist hooks. In fact, this is the only vise that I bought specifically to tie assist hooks with. Okay, so on camera, because it's really just easier to use. Okay, as far as the comfort is concerned, see, it's so small and hardly anything there, and I have small hands, so you can't really lean on this with your hands. So ergonomically, when it comes to just doing this on YouTube, then I can show you stuff. This holds the hook really well, and it's cheap. Okay, not as expensive as the Montana Mongoose, obviously. The Regal knockoff is the cheapest. This will set you back about 100, 150, probably 180 at the very most. Not over 200, that's for sure. The Regal you can get for about 60 US, probably even cheaper. I don't know, but the last time I actually checked it out, it was about $60. Okay, this is about 100 something. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna go over 200. Okay, again, this goes out of the way, or if I want to tie at a lower angle, then I can. Okay, so that has a lot to do with the clamp. Okay, now what is this good for? Again, everything. Okay, big hooks, small hooks, and all that. The biggest problem with these two hooks that I don't like, two vices that I don't like, is the fact that when you're gluing, you're gonna have to put the glue here, spread it with a pair of with one chopstick or a bodkin. Okay, a bodkin is like a needle on a holder. You could use like commercial bodkins. You could make your own bodkin. You could use an ice pick or an awl, or this is like a extractor as a bodkin. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the chopstick. The chopstick I use because it's free. You go to a Chinese restaurant, you take a few, they're not gonna, aside from what you're gonna use, they're not gonna complain. Okay, chopsticks are free, and you could get, and everyone can get chopsticks. So everyone can buy this relatively. There's a few what do you call this, a few people, or there's a lot of people that don't have the budget to buy a rotary. This is probably the best vice you could get for your buck. Okay, if you're doing all around stuff. Okay, now if you're gluing stuff, and you're using epoxy, 5-minute epoxy especially, or even with UV cure epoxy, a rotary vise might be better. Okay, if you're doing a lot. But if you're not, then hey, you know what? This does it. Now, I started using this because I realized that not a lot of people would be able to buy a rotary. Okay. And there are only a few rotary vices out there that can hold very small hooks to very big hooks. So here's a freaking example. Okay. Like that's a small hook, relatively. But this could hold a size 8, no problem. Okay. That can bend the shank. Actually, it's doing that. But okay, so you have this, and then you have that big ass hook. Okay, and guess what? It has so much room still. See, it can hold bigger hooks, like marlin hooks and stuff. I've done here. Hold on, let me get one really really big one. Okay, check that out. Holds it. It can hold it. All right. Now, smaller one. Okay. All right. Now, very little vice in the market that can do that. Okay. So, that's why I say that these hooks. I mean, look, I have to force this one in, but guess what? It holds it. Okay, it holds it. That's the beauty of this thing. Now, if I can get it in a little bit more, there we go. Okay, check this out. Okay, so yes, they're excellent. This is the Montana Pro 2. Okay, from Griffin. Now, they're so strong, these jaws, that you could do this. I don't particularly recommend doing this, especially it's freaking stupid. Okay, but just to demonstrate. Okay, so you could literally straighten offsets with this. Don't do this at home, kids. But you could do that. Okay, it's very very strong. Took the offset off of that hook. Crazy strong jaws. Again, 95% of what you're buying the vice for is the jaw. So even if it has fancy doohickeys and all that, if the jaws suck, the jaws suck. That's it. You know. So Montana Pro Vice 2. Majority of the time, you see me using this. Not really the best in my opinion, but I know a lot of people would be able to buy this. Alrighty. Now, as far as the best vice that I have in the house for tying flies and tying assist hooks, it's this one. It's the Montana Mongoose from Griffin, and I've had this. This is older than my daughter. I had this for almost 20 years, maybe just a little under. It has the same jaws. Okay, so it can hold these big hooks. I probably could hold the bigger ones. I know. See, like that Pro Vice had a hard time, but this one, no, and it still has room, a lot of room for bigger hooks. So this, okay, I'm twisting this thing here, which spreads and opens the jaws. And what that does is, if you tighten it just a bit and then close the jaws, that holds the hook securely. Okay, so you can see it there. Like the whole table is moving because it's holding it securely. Now, I've been through about 15 to 20 vices before I actually settled on this. It cost me a lot of money to import because Amazon didn't exist yet. Okay, at that time when I bought this here in the UAE, I think Souk.com, which later on was bought out by Amazon, wasn't even there yet. Okay, talking about 2006, 2005, something about 2006, late 2006. So when I got this, so yeah, about about 18 years. All right. So when I got this, I saw really, really good reviews, but around that time, this was already kind of expensive. I got this for about $285 or something like that. And I had to pay double the amount because of the shipping. Okay, so I had to FedEx it here. I bought it off of eBay. Okay, so shipping was very expensive. It cost me double than what it usually costs. But now I think you could get this for under $300 or something like that. I'm pretty sure, possibly even cheaper. I don't know. Check it out on what do you call it? I'll put like an Amazon link. But these three vices are what I use. Obviously, this, if you have a rotary with really good jaws, makes life easier. Okay, as far as ergonomics is concerned, this is obviously the most comfortable out of three of them. Okay, so I have a lot of space in the gooseneck. This is what you call a gooseneck for my hand right there. I could put it here. Actually, sometimes I even do this, and I could do it with this. Okay, and I can't do that with the Regal. Obviously, you have a crank handle to help you put epoxy on, whether you're using UV or you're using super glue or 5-minute epoxy, which I use a lot. So 5-minute epoxy, I put there. I have hooks that I have assist hooks that I made in 2006. That's still around. I think I showed that in my Instagram. But 5-minute epoxy. So I used to mix because I couldn't get like shrink tube. So I started using epoxy, right? The 2006. So put that, put it on there. And look, see, it wasn't this vise in 2006. It wasn't this vise. I think I got this at about like later than that for sure. But I had like fake Renzettis, Chinzettis, we call them. And they were relatively decent. But guess what? I messed up the jaws. And there was a limit to how big I could tie, because the jaws actually had a limit. Okay, so and the jaws on those actually broke, even if they were carbide steel. So again, it's the jaws that you're buying. Okay, all the rest are they're just extras. It's the jaws. Now, Renzetti, I mentioned it. They're very, very good fly tying vices. Not so good for tying assist hooks. Okay. Of all the, I've used J Vice, freaking expensive Vice. I think they have a big game, jaw set. But I mean, like 90% of the population wouldn't even buy a J Vice. 90% of the fly tying community couldn't afford a J Vice. Put it that way. Okay. So, this is, in the scheme of things, it's actually cheap, and this is why I got it in the first place. It's relatively cheap for what it is. So if you want something that's really good that would last you your whole lifetime, and I believe this has a lifetime warranty on the jaw. But here's the thing: the only thing I have broken is this freaking spring, and the guys over at Griffin sent me two. And I haven't broken one since, but this is literally the only thing that broke on me. Okay, and this is older than my daughter. My daughter's 14 years old, so this is literally just under 20 years 20 years old. Alrighty, so again, it goes back to what I said in the 3-minute mark. If there's one vice I could recommend, I recommend this. Only that I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to afford it. It's kind of not cheap, especially if you're just tying assist hooks. Now, if you're a fly fisherman, different story. All right, but this is literally less than half the price of that. You can get this for about 100 something. Again, guys, you're paying for the jaw. Okay, Montana Pro Vice 2 with the clamp. Now, not for everyone, but if you are a shore fisherman or a light tackle fisherman, this is it right here. Alrighty, this is all you need. Okay, and even for 90% of fly tying, this is all you need right here. Now, when you're dealing with epoxy and you're tying a lot, there's like what do you call this? It's either you're using the UV cure. I'm not gonna judge. If you're a fly fisherman and you're using UV cure, okay, to make your life easier, a rotary vise will actually distribute the epoxy better. If you're using 5-minute epoxy, there's no way around it. You have to have one of those, okay? At least in my opinion. Alrighty, so that's it for this video. Hope you learned something, and hopefully our sound is fixed and it's doing well. From the monitor here, it's kind of doing better than the last recording. But that's it for this video. If you haven't yet and you want to learn more, click on that subscribe button. Alrighty, if you learned something, give it a thumbs up, and if you think your friends would find benefit in watching this video, and there's a lot other than this in the channel, go ahead and share this channel. Alrighty, and for those guys that want to support more and help this channel go forward, click on that join button. Alrighty, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Class dismissed.